Hi, everyone. Welcome to Retail Reset, a curated virtual forum for retail executives. Our goal with this forum is to provide tailored and tactical conversations and content to help you map your road to recovery and beyond. I'm Debbie House, Executive Director of Content for Retail Touchpoints, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Mike Edwards, who's the CEO of Hanna Andersson. We're going to be talking about how Mike and his team at Hanna Andersson are handling coronavirus, both from personal and professional viewpoints. Welcome, Mike. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Great to be here.
All right. I know it's a crazy time for all of us. So once again, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat. You've been sharing some wonderful perspectives and links on LinkedIn. And so I'm looking forward to having this chat with you.
Great.
So first, I just want to find out, how is everyone at Hanna Andersson holding up during this crisis?
Really surprisingly resilient, and great collaboration, and everyone's doing whatever they have to keep us on track. And we're all working remotely, so it's been super interesting because we're really a design house. So it's typically a lot of collaboration, checking fabrications, checking samples, and now we have people that can pick those things up and drop them off at other people's houses while they review them and provide feedback. So that's been super interesting. Our store managers, and all our stores are closed, so they're working from home, but what they're doing is they're calling 20, 30, 40 customers a day, just asking them how they're doing. And they're having great parent-to-parent kind of conversations, and that's inspiring for both parties. And then our distribution center, I think, we have every control in place, but it still isn't easy. There's a lot of social distancing requirements. There's check-in requirements. There's shift changes that have to occur. They're getting through it, but it has not been easy. And from the office perspective, we are on video all day long, going through work just as we were working together. So I think that's good. We have set up some rules. So if you're a parent at home and you're day schooling or running around the house, you don't always have to jump on the call. We'll be more than flexible. And then we have a blackout period every day from 11:30 to 1 where we don't email, we don't call, we don't talk to each other. We just do something that's personally relaxing, whatever it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that especially in a business like Hanna Andersson, that's in the children's and babies business, you have a lot of people who are working at home with their children. So I bet you probably have a lot of children joining the calls as well, right? Because I know I do on a lot of the work calls that I'm on these days.
Yeah. We have children, we have pets, we have cats, whatever shows up, it's fine. No big deal.
It's kind of fun in a way, but
Yeah.
So how many stores does Hanna Andersson operate again?
We have 60.
Okay. All right. And they're all closed, obviously. Are most of them inside malls?
The large percentage are, yes.
Okay. And then what about employee furloughs, salary cuts? Have you had to do any of that?
Yeah, we've done a little of everything. So our part-time team or non-full-time team, well, they had to be laid off. We furloughed our store managers and lead sales. Actually, they're still being paid, but they're paid at a reduction of value from where they were. Everyone over a certain salary has taken a 20% pay cut in the office, and I took a 100% pay cut. So I'm zero until we all come back and we're up and running. The company in size went from over 900 associates to 360 in about 30 straight days. So a lot of everyone is doing their part. It's not easy, but we're looking for a better day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all are.
Yeah.
So you took 100% pay cut. I know there have been other executives, C-level executives in all types of businesses that have done that.
Yep.
How did you make that decision, and what, do you have any advice for other high-level execs who are pondering it?
I think it really conveyed the message that, starting at the top, I'm in it with you.
Mhm.
And, from my perspective, that um, I just didn't, personally feel good about drawing a salary when, I had to make such significant cutbacks for everyone. Um, there'll be time to make a salary again in the future.
Right.
But, today it's about trust, and it's about, the team, they're anxious at home and they want to know that their leaders have their back. And, so that was really my rationale behind it.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. So how else has this crisis affected you, both as a business leader and a human being? I mean, you've been, the leader of several businesses during your career. So, and this is absolutely, I am sure, a unique circumstance for you.
It really is. I thought Borders Books was the most intense leadership assignment I'd ever had, going through bankruptcy. But in the end, it seems nothing like today.
Yeah.
And, I think from a human perspective, you really miss people. I miss going into the office, and I, miss seeing people and connecting, and all the things that you took for granted now you have to reprioritize. And so I think, I'm being certainly a lot closer with my friends and family than I ever have. Um, and from a work standpoint, I think the perspective is that, transparency, trust, and just being honest and empathetic, is an environment is, appreciated by your team, because they're watching their leaders to see how they respond in these times. And I think that we're doing everything we can to be good citizens and working with our colleagues.
So what strategies are you employing as far as keeping the business alive and keeping as many employees employed as you can, and possibly, planning for the return of other employees? How are you strategizing for that?
So we're essentially working on a 3-month plan, and we'll come back and figure out fall later. And that's pretty unusual because we have a 12 to 18-month planning cycle. But our direct business has been incredibly strong. We're seeing a level of growth online that we've not seen in a long time.
Mhm.
And 80% of our business is online. So it's, 80% of our customers come in through a click. And so that, boils down to how do you keep your site running well, keeping the content fresh, getting new products on the site, making sure we're fulfilling orders, making sure we provide great customer service, and that we can, communicate, reasonable expectations for shipping. And, as that's happening, we've had to go back and renegotiate with our banks to improve our liquidity to get through, and also work with our investor, Al Catterton, for additional funding. All that's come together. So, as we've really reeled back our expenses and managed our payments,
Mhm.
those are the business strategies that, get you through. We know that we'll come out again, and it won't be easy to restart up stores and get inventory back in that's relevant. And so we've been a digital first company since I've joined,
Mhm.
and that's working. Um, you know, the unknowns are probably the biggest challenge I have, is that what kind of inventory levels do I buy? for the fall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are we going to be in a recession or not? How many stores will reopen or not? You know, what's the impact of social distancing? And then what's the holiday look like? And, you know, it's always challenging when you have a regular holiday, then you have a holiday and an election, a recession, and a pandemic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you can't plan
yeah,
for that. There's no past experience that you can use to inform you, right?
no. So, you know, I tell everyone that I work with, our business models are about good for 24 hours. And then
Being in,
we'll
though being in a business of babies and young children, you know that there are going to be needs for your products, right? Because yeah,
yeah,
I have a new grandchild who's 5 months, and she's growing very quickly, and they're and it's a new set of clothes every month. So
right.
one of the things, the child business, the pet business, and some of the other businesses, you sort of know there's a need for your products, but at the same time, now you're dealing with new challenges, and you mentioned being digital first. But have you run into any blips in being able to, in response time on your website? Have you had to make any digital changes because of possibly
Yeah.
the movement from from stores to e-commerce?
Yeah, we've had to do a couple things. One is, we normally could get a customer their product within 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
That now looks like it's doubled, or going up over 10 days, just because of this, the social distancing in the warehouse, is a challenge, but has to be done. And then um, we've actually had to go into our stores and pull the inventory and ship it back to our distribution center, just because a lot of it's fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the two trends that are working really well for us are that most people at home right now are sitting in their activewear, or they're sitting in pajamas.
Right.
Um, so our adult business is quite robust. Um, and then, loungewear's, also emerging. It's a sort of an unintended consequence of this. So it's, on the downside is that the swim business is usually a really good business for us right now, and that's all but gone to zero.
Yeah.
So it's just playing to the strengths we have.
Yeah. I actually got dressed in real clothes for our interview today, but I admit I've
Yeah,
been in exercise clothes or loungewear for a
right.
long time now. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Just switching gears a little bit. What is Hanna Andersson doing as a business to help others in need during this crisis?
Yeah, we've donated almost $150,000 worth of pajamas to various hospitals, from New York through over to the West Coast to LA and to Oregon. It's usually 50-50 split between adult and baby sizes, based on the hospital's request. And this all started because we had a call that came into our call center, and it was um, a woman in New York that lived a couple blocks away from the Queens Hospital, which was kind of ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
And from her window, she could see the morgue trucks and everything that was going on, and she was so upset that she just wanted to talk to someone. So she called our call center. And as we learned, she read a story about a patient that died in our Hanna Jams, and the doctor sat right next to her the whole time. And we said, "That's it. If our products can bring comfort to those in needs, we're gonna find them, we're gonna ship them, and we'll get them to the hospital." So we've been doing a lot of that. We've been working with other charities in which we can donate samples or whatever they need. Make it accessible, and then I think that the fact that our store managers are calling just to say hello is our way of reaching out. We're not selling anything. We're just checking in on on the customers that we've had great relationships with as people.
Yeah.
So
no, that's
that's kind of been our tactic.
Yeah, that's such a great thing to do. We were talking a few minutes ago about changes in demand for different types of products. And, just on sort of a funny note, there's a lot of talk about the number of new babies that might be born in the next, 9 to 12 months. Everybody's stuck at home. How do you anticipate for those needs? I mean, is there any way to predict?
No. It's, the past history suggests that. Birth rates have been actually coming down to the lowest point, to date. So will that change or not? Don't know. But there's been more pet adoptions than probably in the history of the country.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, it's just interesting how that's playing out. But, the baby business is always super important to us anyway. So it's an area of focus for us going forward, irregardless.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just funny to think about it. I think they're going to be called the quarantine generation or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So during a time like this, how do you address marketing messaging? How do you communicate with customers in a different way that you just need to? I mean, we all need to communicate in a different way right now.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to be tone deaf. So we spend a lot of our time sometimes talking through what do we really like to see in the marketplace, and what's our customer telling us, and then and also looking at things that aren't going so well in the marketplace, where things have backfired, where retailers tried to stay open when they shouldn't have, and things like that. And but we shifted our messaging very quickly back to family values and comfort, and protection, and a lot of stories and quotes from our customers, and keeping it really real and authentic. And that's resonated really well. So our parents love sharing stories about what they're doing during this time. And we made that shift actually before this, back in the holidays, where we had 5 Hanna families that we sort of invited them in, and they came to Portland, and they showed us their traditions, and they showed us how they lived in their homes, and that became the premise of our creative campaign. And so we've sort of picked up on that parent-to-parent relationship, and we've just been accelerating it, going forward.
Yeah. Now it's a virtual welcome into their home, right? Yeah. It's amazing. That's great. Yeah, you kind of anticipated it. Tell me a little bit about how your board has been supporting you in the business during the crisis.
Yeah, they've been great. We have usually a weekly call or two, just depending on the topic. It's usually an hour check-in, and we always have good meaty topics to discuss. They've been incredibly helpful on the refinancing side, and then we'll do deeper dives where the board or Al Catterton can provide resources and expertise, and anything from marketing spend analysis to what other portfolio companies are doing, both from a leadership marketing perspective, and then we'll try and stay connected, one way or another every day, just checking in and sharing things. And I couldn't ask for a more supportive board. I feel enormously lucky.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. One of the things I didn't ask you about yet is your social team and how you're connecting with your community via Instagram and other social channels. I know you've done some cool things there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've been working very hard again on the messaging to make sure that it's stays authentic and it's of interest to our customers. We just hired an agency in Portland to even help us take it up a notch. So, we're trying to develop new social campaigns to start in May, and then also paid social as well, and video content that really lands where the public is right now, and talking in a way that's interesting and relevant. So, it's something that as we come past all this, those are the brands that people want to be associated with.
Right, absolutely. All right. Are there any other thoughts that you wanted to share about business? Personal, any other advice you have for other business leaders out there?
Well, I think that with all crises there are opportunities, and we're trying to think through what kind of company do we want to be post this. What will change? Do we like our culture? Do we want to change it? Are there other product categories we should be thinking about? How does our marketing change, in light of that? And I think the biggest, my favorite time of the day is my 9 a.m. staff meeting on video, because everyone is really engaged, and it's really productive. So I think the work from home, which was probably more shunned on in the past, is actually now going to be part of what we do.
Yep.
And it opens up a wide range of talent possibilities once you get used to it. So, I mean, all of us, have things that are keeping us up at night. But every day that I start, it's with a new checklist. What can we get done today? And I think that all of us as leaders have to realize that our teams and associates are counting on us in a far bigger way than we've ever imagined. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really appreciate all of, you taking the time again and sharing, all that you've been going through personally and professionally, and wish you and Hanna Andersson all the best. And hopefully things will, I don't like to use the word normal because it's a strange word to me, but hopefully things will get to a better place very soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day. Thanks a lot.
You too.
Thanks to all of you for joining us for Retail Reset, and look for more content and conversations coming very soon.